Go on, Richard, why is your stag in your yard? What have you done to it? I might have been an idiot. Well, I know I'm an idiot, but I might have been a big idiot. I was giving it some wheels and the diff went bang spectacularly. This is the diff that I put on back in March of this year. Literally just got a used old stock diff, shimmed it out, lobbed it on. Well, it's gone bang. Let's see what I've done with it. Right, handbrake off, in gear, one wheel off the ground. Does it turn? Yes, it does. That's making an unhappy noise. Right, let's jack the other side up and see if it does the same. In which case, my guess is going to be something catastrophic with the cage or the cross shaft. Unlikely to be the pinion or the crown wheel, because that will still be interfacing, I think, with the prop shaft because we're in gear. Yeah, right, let's do the other side. Right, this side. Yeah, we're getting no drive at all on this side through the diff. Diff off, you knob. Pain in the arse. Never mind, these things happen. Right, we're up in the air. Doesn't bode well, does it? There's something connecting. This wheel's now locked up. So this wheel's now turning the prop shaft. So I'm wondering if the output flange up here. Let's take drive shaft off first and foremost, because the output flange can come off fairly easily. Now, if the output flange has gone, then there's a reasonable chance that doesn't sound happy, I'll give it that. Drive shaft off. Right, start with the gaiter. Just cut the zip ties, 2 zip ties. Gaiter comes back, and then we can move the cup back. Then we can see the bolts then for the drive shaft, so we'll take these off. Bolts are out, drive shaft comes off, and I shall extract it off the splines because that's all going to get cleaned up anyway. Just makes life just that little bit easier. Put that over there. It does actually feel like it's the output shaft. Let's take the 4 bolts here that hold the output shaft in place. I'm going to need those. We'll see what it's like on the inside. Got nothing to lose by taking this off in this sort of situation, purely because, well, it's fucked anyway, isn't it? Right, it is coming out. Well, the bad news is that the splines look fine on it. It's got splines, and splines on the cage look fine. So it's going to be the cross shaft, I reckon, because I'm turning the other wheel and this is not turning on the inside here. If the splines had caused the failure, then I would expect the sun, planet, whatever gear that I've got my finger on inside the differential piercing here to be rotating in the opposite direction. It wants to rotate, but I can hold it still. So we're back to removing the differential. Never mind, it was worth a go. Now, Right, exhaust is off. I only had it off for now back in March anyway, so it's not going to be an issue. Need to take the 4 prop shaft bolts out, other drive shaft, 2 mounting points, one there, one there. Support the diff before you undo those, lower the diff down, and then you undo the 4 bolts here on the front. Might leave the prop shaft attached actually for the time being, because if the fault is within the diff and not within the diff nose, and this is the diff nose here, as you can see mine's been reinforced already, if the fault's in the diff, then I don't need to take the prop shaft off, so that saves me 4 nuts and bolts. So there we go, other drive shaft disconnected. 3 of the 4 bolts are disconnected. You can't get to the top bolt until the diff is dropped down. So yeah, don't worry too much about that one. So next, really, I need to support the differential and undo the 2 mounting bolts, for which I need my 9/16, I believe. So diff goes up, we're supported, and then we want undo the 2 mounting bolts, nuts, and just a poly bush. Now, if I lower the jack now, the whole diff will come down along with the subframe. Okay, nice and gently, and then that gives me access to get onto the top bolt. It will actually, right, that's the point where it's not going to go any further. So now we should be able to get the very top bolt out, for which I've thrown the spanner over there. It's only because when the diff comes off the extension, there's a reasonable chance that it's going to slide off the jack. Now we'll lower this down as low as it will go, and then what we need to do is break it off the connection, lower down a bit more. If it's going to go, by the way, let it go. Don't try and catch it, because they're fucking heavy. Right, we need to go up a little bit. Right, up a little bit, and it should then slide off, and then we can go down. There's the oil. Richard. Let's just let that oil drip out. Quite murky looking. And in theory I should now be able to lower this down and there we go. Now I'm supporting it because the jack's too far fucking forwards, but as we bring the jack down, right, there we go, that's it off. I can go over there, this can come out, and let's see what we've done with it. Let's see what we broke. So this jack can go right down now, and then I want that to go in there just so it pours the oil out like that. I don't know if you can see that. There we are. It's the easiest way to get the oil out. Right, diff mounting plate is off, as you can see. Let's get the back plate off this thing now. So I really want a decent sized tray for it to sit in, because there's still going to be a reasonable amount of oil left in there. That'll probably do it. Never chuck your old baking trays away, folks. Try not to use the new baking trays, folks. They're indoors, will not be happy. So let's I'm using a dugger gun. I can't be arsed, folks. It's not going to fit on there. I might not be using a dugger gun, folks, because right, let's try it like that. It might fit. It might fit. It does fit. One. I thought that was out. It's just caught on a bit of glue. Right. Right, are we ready? Where's the dowel? There's the dowel. Right, now that's gone. I should then, because I'm on the inward side of the gasket, not going against the aluminium, folks. I'm not putting particularly big taps on this either. Right, there's the other dowel down there. They don't normally come apart this easily. They're normally corroded together, but because this has been apart not that long ago, it has helped it. Trying to get it off that dowel there. Come on, you bastard. There we go. Right, that's off the dowel. Now, that's on this, isn't it? Oh, fucking hell, Richard. You absolute buffoon. That might be root cause. Cage is broken. So what we have here effectively is a scrap diff. You see the fracture right across the cage there. That's not helpful, Richard. That's not helpful at all. Right, I'm just pushing the securing pin out of the cross shaft, because I want to find out what failed first, whether it was the carrier or the sun and planet gears. I suspect it all kind of failed at about the same sort of time. I think either way, we're into new diff territory here. That should actually get that cross shaft should come out now. Out you come, and rotate. Oh, the shim's looking in reasonable order. You cretin. What an absolute f***ing cretin. Yeah, cross shaft is shifted. There's one shim. And I should be able to rotate that around. Let's just knock it a bit further. The whole thing's full of swarf anyway. It might have seen better days, folks. It might just have seen better days. I think this pin, pin's out, pin's loose. I'm going to have to get the crown wheel out really in order to see any further. But let's get the caps off. That's the cap for that side. I'm going to need to get the output shaft up as well. Output shaft. I don't think I've got another cage. I've got another diff. This is part of my problem now. That's that off. Acceptable. Now, this should now come out of here. Sometimes they come out, sometimes they don't. This one comes out. Sometimes you have to crush the casing, so you need to basically press the casing that way in order to get it out. But there is the crown wheel and the diff casing and the big end. Right, so let's take the rest of that oil out of there. Let's put the bearing cap and then onto the cage, which I'll be honest doesn't look great, does it? I need the pin right out. So let's knock the pin right through. There's the pin. Sun gear shim. Yeah, but that's not going to get used again, is it? And nor this one. Oh, it's just lumps taken out of it. Right, and then another shim. Chewed up. Okay. Now, if we extract the sun wheel off, sorry, the crown wheel off the cage, just by undoing these bolts, and then we can assess whether that is any good or what we are going to do here. Flat, we are going flat. Normally you'd mark the relative position of the crown wheel to the cage, but as the cage is scrap, right, now crown wheel should now come off the carrier. And it does. Is it in one bit? Which is the bit we need to know, because otherwise the whole fucking thing is scrap, because the only thing then that's salvageable will be the diff housing itself. Cheers. There is quite heavy wear on the crown wheel teeth, so I'm expecting that this diff really wasn't in its first flush of youth, I'll be honest. It's quite a badly worn crown wheel, and once this thing went bang, it was literally towed about, what, 3 miles at 5 miles an hour. That sort of wear wouldn't have occurred. during that time. In fact, the crown wheel wouldn't have even been turning. Ta-da! I was fairly sure I had another diff. This diff I bought off my mate. He's called me a hooligan for fucking it up, because it was a quiet diff. I absolutely agree, it was a very quiet diff. And yes, I am a hooligan. This diff I swapped for the original saloon diff that was in my car earlier this year. So I am going to, there is the tiniest bit of backlash in it. Let's put you there. So if I get hold of it, tiny. I'm going to take the back cover off it because I want to change the bearing. I pulled the front seal out and I've got another seal to go straight back in. Otherwise I'm inclined to just pop this straight on. I might need to take the output shafts off because it looks like, yeah, the bolts are all loose. So there is no gasket in there, but I'll just want to be absolutely sure that everything is going to be tight and not leak out all over the place, which is what we don't want. Because I've got a feeling that when this diff came in for a swap for my 3.7 diff, 3.45 diff, he kept his original output shafts because he's put new bearings on. Let's get these out. Whether I use the output shafts that I already had because the bearings were okay in them, or whether I use these ones, I couldn't tell yet. They'll come out in a second. That really needs to go in the scrap bin. That's off. That can go in there. And what have we got going on inside this diff? Oh my goodness. It's almost like it needs a shim between the sun gear. Planet gears aren't moving, so the noise is the nose rattling on me tin can. So let's get rid of the tin can. There is a clonk in there. I don't think I've got that many shims left, and obviously I've destroyed the shims that came out of the other one, and the only shims I have got here are a 55 to 57 and a 63 to 65. A water pump gasket for some reason. Right, so the reason for the backlash is it's just wear and tear. I just want to get a diff in the car that works and is going to be reasonably good. So you can see the whacking great step in the middle of that shim. That was a 55,000 shim because I measured the thickness at the inner edge. I've got a 55,000 shim in a bag, as luck would have it, and we've got that backlash down to almost nothing. And this is the backlash on the sun and planet gears, all right? There's the tiniest clonk in there, but... Right, okay, so having done that, so cleaned up the mating face here, smear of instant gasket, check everything's nice and clean. It is, and this can go in here, and then start assembling this, get it back on the car, get the car home and in the garage, rather than in my yard. That's on. Now let's do this side next. There we go. And already cleaned up. The bearing's a sealed bearing, so all I did on the other side was just wipe it off. There's no need to fuck around with it. The bearing's in good order. There is a limit to the amount of work that you can do here. What's his name's out? They should just punch through. We'll see. We will see. It'd be nice if they do. They do. And this one, which is about there. It's coming out. Right, let me just put that underneath there. That's out. That's out. So I've got 2 dowels out. And I can go back down there again. Old bearing. Might just need to clean that one up a little bit. It's got some scuffs on it. This back cover on. I think we're all fairly clean all the way around. Clean and dry. And cover. This thing does not want to move around on the bench at all. Just check it's going to fit. That way up. That's the bottom. Silly arse. I'm struggling with where the jiggle pin was going to go to, and of course I'm looking at the bloody thing upside down. So this is the bottom edge, because it's flat, and the top edge has got a nice big rib on it. Like that. So yes, we know we're going on the right way around. All the bolt holes are going to line up. Gasket sealant. Right, seals back in. Everything's done up. Happy enough with it. It's going back on the car. In position. Roughly in position. Jack him up. And as he jacks up, I need him further forwards on the stand. So he wants to be more like that. That's better. As I said before, if it's going to fall off, let the bastard fall off. You don't want to get your arm trapped underneath it. Right, we have to come down a bit. What I'm going to need to do here is get the nose bolt in, which is kind of what I've done there, and then continue to jack up, and then it should then go onto the diff nose. Come down a bit. It's close. There we are, it's on. Now we've done that, one bolt. Don't do the bolts up tight until you have got all 4 in, otherwise you'll shout at it. And you must remember to do the top bolt up before you jack it up and onto the car. So you're going to look at my head for a moment. You could always move over here, couldn't you? There we go. Why don't you sit there? Kind of out of the way then, aren't you? Yeah, this goes on.
Need to get this up onto the steam cleaner. Give it a damn good pressure wash up underneath. I've got enough jobs to do at the moment though. Pesky, obscured top bolts. Goes in, but it's a bit on the tight side. Probably need to jack up slightly. That's gone in nicely. Right, checking that the cups are still on the car. Right, that's definitely lifted, and I can now do the top bolt up. There we go, it's there. Right, just get the long spanner out now so I can get some leverage on it. That's pretty much done. Right, now, interestingly, that's chosen the time to drop that bush off there. We want to go up now, and it should go straight up and line up with the pins on the floor, which it does. So we get the securing bushes. Right, that's done that one. Let's double check that one. That's good. Jack. Thank you, Mr. Trolley. There. And now I need to pop these two back on. So we have got here. This is where I'm going to get all grubby now. There is one king or key spline which only locates one way around. Don't forget to put the cup on, otherwise you'll shout. You'll eventually get the drive shaft all together, then realise you've forgotten to put the sodding cup on it. There's the keyway, and there's the keyway. They are a faff to put together, these things, they really are, because they'll only go in exactly the right location. That is definitely a key, that is definitely a key. When it goes on, you'll know. If it helped, it wasn't quite so fucking greased up. But then you want them greased up. Why is that not going onto that key? Just thinking about it. You see what I mean about when you get these things together, if you have to take them apart again because you forgot to put the boot on, well, you shout. Like that. Right, now that's gone on, we push the boot up there, we line up the drive shaft, and then I do all the bolts up. That needs to rotate. That's good. That's good. Right, I'm going to do these. All we've got to do now is put this exhaust back on, which came apart pretty easily, I'll be honest. And it's going to go back together pretty easily. A little bit of lube, WD-40 does the job beautifully, allows the pipes to slip in. This particular system is a very old stainless system that was on the car when I bought it in 1994, and it's still good as gold. I think it's when they started selling these stainless systems and they realised hello, plane, they realised that they were doing themselves out of repeat business by not making the system wear out, if you get my drift. But yes, new rubber at the back. Clamps are against the silencers. That is almost there. I need to really get to where the camera is, so you're going to have to go away. Right, exhaust is more or less on. I'll do that. Now, if I take you round to the leading edge of the exhaust, you'll see that we haven't got standard exhaust mounts on this thing. What we've actually got is an L-shaped bracket, which mounts to the suspension horseshoe, whatever you want to call it, U-shaped bolt clamp, and then I use a G-clamp to hold the exhaust to it. It's been like this probably for about 25 years, and it works. Right, I think we're done there. We're done there, so let's get the oil can. You can come with me out from under my car. Oh my goodness, I'm almost getting too old for this game. Oily handprints on my back bumper. Oily handprints on the exhaust. Right, let's see if we fixed it. We want to have done really. Oh my goodness. A long way in here, it really is. Right. Choke. Oh, rolling. Choke's not sticky on me. That's better. Right. Oh, we're moving. This is good news. Let's hold you, otherwise you're just going to fall on the floor. No clicks or clonks so far. I need to give it a good run, but the idea is just to be sure that it's actually going to work for me. Free diff. I don't think it was a free diff. I think it ended up costing me about 50 quid or something in an exchange. I do need to sort these choke out though. Part there, have you? It's not helpful. Well, you're working. Let's go and put your bumper back on. And I popped my used bumper on. The chrome on this is way better than it was on the unit which came off the car. That's not terminal rust, that's just rust that's soaked through from the inside, but the chrome on this was very much dull compared to this one, and this one cost me not a lot. Thanks, Julian. Matches the rest of the chrome on the vehicle. I still need to change this back bumper though. This was a reproduction centre blade and rear corner from the accident damage which occurred 1,000 years ago, and then someone subsequently touch parted. Thank you so very much for your your assistance. And again, look, nice big touch part there. This is an original corner. That's an original overrider. So I'm looking for a better back bumper than this. But we move again, which is good. So I am just going to pack up because I'm going home because I've had enough. I spent all day long messing around with my Stag, which is good because it damn well needs it. It might stay up here while I do the engine bay work on it, but I don't really want to immobilise it like I did on Saturday.